Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Realtree, Hoyt Archery, Muddy Outdoors, Fuse Accessories, Frigid Forage, Trophy Rock, Scentmaster, Cabela's, Rocket Broadheads, TrailCamPro.com, Bloodsport Arrows, Redneck Hunting Blinds, ScentLock, Scott Archery, Yeti Coolers, and Nikon.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. Today's the 27th of October. I'm heading down into a spot here where I've got a whole bunch of standing beans. It's one of the few spots on the farm where I really expect I could be surprised by something that we haven't gotten on camera yet this year. So it's going to be a fun spot for that reason, and also we put a redneck blind up on the other end of this food plot 2 or 3 days ago. So it'll be interesting to see how the deer react to that blind. So while I'm heading down here, I'm going to send you back a couple of days, 2-3 days, to the middle of the week for a hunt that I had on one of my favorite stands named Old Reliable. Need to shoot my bow a couple times here before I go out. It's Wednesday afternoon, real nice and cool, 45 degrees today for a high, which feels more like mid-November than the 23rd, I guess, of October here. I've got the new Hoyt Carbon Spyder. They sent me this a couple of days ago. Haven't had a chance to really get it 100% dialed in yet. And unfortunately, the spot I'm going to, there aren't going to be any chip shots. This stand location is basically, I'd say your average shot is going to be 30 yards. I'm going to go back and start at 40 and just see how I do at 40 yards. The spot we're going to hunt this evening is one that I've nicknamed Old Reliable. Through the years, we've killed an awful lot of deer there. Back when I used to shoot a lot of does, I'd kill a ton of does back on that ridge. And there's a lot of them there again now. So if nothing else, maybe I can get a couple of does killed this evening. We don't know what's coming out on that ridge at all. We haven't ran camera yet there this year. It's one of the few spots on the farm where we haven't ran a camera. Wind is perfect for it, so it should be a fun evening just to see what comes out. We just got settled in here. Gonna fall and pop out about 30 yards away. I'm not gonna pass up any shots at does this evening, so hopefully there's one behind this fawn. Yeah, there's the doe. Oh, okay, it's there. Yeah. I didn't see the arrow, but it sure sounded like it hit her in the right place. She was about 32 yards, and I held my 30-yard pin just below her brisket. She was just a little bit spooky, so I'm sure that hit her, even though I didn't see the arrow. It had that double long sound to it. I always try to learn something every time I go out, and I've had plenty of opportunities over the past couple of years to learn lessons about these string jumpers, and had a lot of deer, bucks and does, that have jumped the string on me. And when they do that, of course, the kill zone that you're aiming at lowers considerably, and in some cases on like a 30-yard shot, it can be as much as 10 or 12 inches that they drop by the time the arrow gets there. And that's even when you're shooting 300 feet per second like I am. So on this shot that I took this evening, I just ranged it. It was about 35 yards. I used the 30-yard pin and aimed about 3 inches below the doe's brisket. So if she wouldn't have ducked, I would have missed her probably 6 inches low, I'm guessing, under her brisket. But she dropped at least 10 to 12 inches and fell right into that arrow. So the point is, if they're not completely relaxed, and even sometimes when they are, unfortunately, they'll drop at the sound of the shot. does tend to drop more often than bucks do. But in my experience, even the bucks will drop quite a bit if they're even the least bit alert. So 20 yards and in, I aim dead on. And then past 20 yards, I aim increasingly low, depending upon the distance of the shot. That hunt at Old Reliable was the first chance I had to hunt with this new Carbon Spyder from Hoyt. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in detail in next week's episode. My first impression on the bow is that I'm really impressed with it. I really like the way it looks. It's got a real solid feel to it, like all the carbon bows do. The new cam is real fast. It's smooth though. So I think it's a good combination of speed and shootability. I'm excited about trying to shoot a buck with it here in the next couple of weeks. We got settled in here in this bottom, and I think it's been 3 years since I've hunted this stand. I spent so much time hunting that double G4 buck and the G5 buck and daggers and some of these other bucks on the other end of the farm that I haven't spent any time down in here. It's grown up quite a lot, so it's hard to see clear down to the other end. So we're not going to be able to see how the deer react to that redneck blind, because it's clear on the other end of this 7-acre bottom field. I mentioned the fact that we could run into a surprise buck in this area. There's 3 or 4 nice young 2- and 3-year-old bucks we picked up on camera in this bottom and then up on the ridge up above. And that's been quite a while ago, so there's no telling, anything could have moved in with all this food here. So that's kind of what we're hoping to see. It'd be nice to get our eyes on a nice shooter buck down in here. Next, I'm going to hand you off to Scott Prucha and Jim Ryser. Scott's got an update for us, and Jim had some exciting decoying action down in Indiana. We are set up in the grain wagon blind tonight, and the good news is old lean-to doesn't seem to be too bothered by the blind, and on 2 different occasions he walked by. I guess it's passed that test. It's going to be a rodeo if something's coming out, because with all this CRP, it's really tough to see these deer until they're right on top of you. Just as a dry run, be good to see what problems we encounter as we try and shoot a deer out of here before lean-to walks by. So hopefully we'll get a doe to come by and make the red sniper blind work tonight. Wait, I'm not on her. No. Watch her. That's not
We're getting ready to slip over the hill here down to our redneck blind, and it's October 26th. It's about 50 degrees. We got a big northwest wind blowing pretty good tonight. It's supposed to settle down before dark, so we're going to slip down there and see what's going on. I did pull cameras this last week, and Braveheart is back on the scene. He's got a couple appearances at a scrape right across the field here. Actually the same exact scrape that Cheech was using the night I shot him 2 years ago. So he's frequenting the scrape, middle of the night, early morning before light. We're just hoping he's going to follow some does out one of these days and give us an opportunity to take a shot at him. It's one thing I did notice on all the cameras, this farm, the other farm, the deer really seemed to be back on their feet. There was a couple weeks there where I wasn't getting pictures of anything. I mean, the cameras, I'd go through 300 pictures and not save a single picture because there wasn't a single buck I was after. And in the last 2 weeks here, Flat Top Junior's been showing up at a scrape almost every night. Lean-to not as frequently, but he's still around, and he's actually accepted the blind because we got some pictures of him walking right past the blind one night, actually a couple nights. That's good news. We actually hunted out of that blind the other night. We just wanted to kind of do a test run. We pulled those cameras down there while we hunted there, and it was interesting because these deer are not afraid of the blind. We literally had deer popping out right next to us, and we actually tried to shoot a doe, and that's one of the reasons we went in there for a test run, just to see how we could film and how we could get the project done if we tried to kill something. And as I drew on one of the tall windows, everything was good. I went to shoot, and when my limb coiled back, it hit the roof of the blind. So I'm going to have to crouch just a hair, and so we don't have that problem if lean-to comes by. So we're ready to get down here. We're looking for the rut to keep picking up here. Weather looks good coming up, so we're going to stay after it hard and see if we can get one of these deer on the ground.
Well, it's 4 o'clock and it's October 23rd. I'm in the stand I call the Iowa stand. I've got a decoy out. It's cold, so I'm going to sit here for a little while, and I'll probably do some rattling and calling at some point. That just goes to show you decoys work, grunting works, and conservative hunting works. He is down. He is down. Wow. What was beautiful about this hunt is he did exactly what we would hope for a decoy. This was really an awesome, awesome night. I just could not be more proud of this deer.
There's a spike in the corner of the food plot right now, and I can hear another buck on the edge scraping. He hasn't stepped out yet. There's a couple big trails that come up in that corner of the food plot, so he's probably coming up and hitting the edge of the field, so hopefully he'll step out in just a minute here. That's that buck that we had all the pictures of from back in mid to late September. Good solid looking, I'd say he's probably a 3-year-old 8-pointer is what he looks like, but he should be a heck of a nice deer in a couple of years. He's got a nice frame. He's just a little bit young to try to kill him. The wind is gusting down in here, and he picked up just a little bit of our scent. It's always tougher when it gusts, because whenever it gusts, it blows hard. It's almost like it sucks back between gusts. I've noticed that a lot. It just seems like the air goes back and forth. It swirls a lot more. Down in this little pocket down in here, it swirled around and he picked us up. But he was making a scrape and acting ruddy, so that's kind of exciting, to see a nice looking buck. With this week that we've got ahead of us, there's a couple things that I'm going to be focused on. In the evenings, I'm going to stick close to these feeding areas. The bucks haven't harassed the does so much yet that the does have stopped feeding in these open areas. That means that with the does coming out, the bucks will be following them, and the food sources in the evening should be kind of the focal point of all the doe activity that will bring the bucks in. In the mornings, typically as the rut really gets wound up, I'll start hunting doe bedding areas, but I kind of ease my way into that. And at this point, like this coming week, I'd be more focused on funnels between two doe bedding areas. Something like an open gate between two ridges, or a creek crossing, or a spot where the deer go around a ditch, or something like that, where you're not sitting right in the bedding area itself, educating a bunch of does, but you're still taking advantage of the fact that the bucks are hunting does in the morning. Well, those are my quick tips for this coming week. I'm going to wrap the show up right here. We've had some action tonight, not a ton for as much food as what we've got here. Greg came down here during the summer and filmed this field, and I think he said he saw about 15 different deer, about half of them bucks. So there's more deer in this area than what we saw tonight. But, definitely getting that feeling in the air of the rut. The way that buck was acting, he was snort wheezing and making a scrape, chasing that smaller buck off. So they're starting to get that, sort of testosterone overload going. So it should just keep getting better every day now. This week is going to be a busy one for us. The whole pro staff is going to be hitting it pretty hard. All the guys working out of our office here in Iowa are going to be in the field, either hunting private land or hunting public land. We'll bring you the action on the daily video blogs, and then we'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. And remember to always dream big.